Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share a pretty interesting team idea in DC Dark Legion. It is a combination of two factions, Amazons and Justice League. But this time, I will build the team in a slightly different direction. Instead of focusing only on pure defense or pure damage, this team is built around protecting one main damage dealer and using Flash to increase attack, as well as transfer energy to the hero who deals the highest damage in the team. When looking at how these heroes work together, I realized that the Amazons have a very strong ability to hold the front line, especially with Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta standing in the front. This allows the team to have enough time for the heroes in the backline to start developing their power. Meanwhile, Superman can act as the main source of damage, and when he is supported by Flash continuously transferring energy, he can use his ultimate more frequently, which creates huge pressure on the enemy team over time. Because of that, the idea of this team is quite clear. It is to build a very solid front line with heroes from the Amazons faction, then let Flash speed up the pace of the battle and support Superman to become the main source of damage for the entire team. And in today's video, we will analyze whether this Amazons and Justice League combination in this direction is actually effective, how the heroes support each other, as well as the strengths and weaknesses you should pay attention to if you want to try building this team in DC Dark Legion. Next, to better understand how this team works, we need to look at its overall strategic concept. This team is built with a very clear direction. Create a front line that is strong enough to hold the battle while concentrating resources so that one hero in the backline becomes the main source of damage for the entire team. The heroes from the Amazons faction will take the role of holding the front line and absorbing most of the damage from the enemy. When the front line is stable enough, the heroes in the backline will have enough time to accumulate energy, maintain buffs, and gradually create pressure on the enemy team. Flash plays the role of speeding up the pace of the battle by increasing attack for allies and transferring energy to the hero who deals the highest damage, which allows the main damage source of the team to use ultimate more frequently. Thanks to this operations style, the team becomes stronger over time and is very suitable for long battles. If we look at the specific lineup, we will have two heroes on the front line, Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta. In the backline will be Artemis, Superman, and Flash. This is a combination of Amazons and Justice League, where Amazons provide stable defense while Justice League provides damage and the necessary support effects to make the team operate more efficiently. This arrangement gives the team a very solid front line, while the backline has enough damage and utility to control the battle. Now, we will go into the role of each hero in this team. First is Wonder Woman, who plays the role of the main tank for the entire team. Wonder Woman has the ability to control enemies and create shields to protect allies, while also providing defensive buffs that make herself more durable. In addition, the fact that Wonder Woman belongs to both Amazons and Justice League also makes her an important bridge in this team. Standing next to Wonder Woman on the front line is Queen Hippolyta. Hippolyta's role is to help the front line become more stable and also support the survival of the entire team, helping absorb more damage and extend the duration of the fight. When these two heroes stand together on the front line, the team will have a very solid defensive layer, creating conditions for the backline heroes to operate more safely. In the backline, Artemis will play the role of the secondary damage source of the team. She can deal stable physical damage to enemies in the front and continuously create pressure on the enemy front line. Thanks to being protected by two Amazon tanks in the front, Artemis usually has enough time to maintain damage throughout the battle. However, you can replace her with Wonder Girl to increase survivability for all allies, because she can increase physical defense for Queen Hippolyta. Next is Superman, the hero considered the main source of damage for this team. Superman has the ability to deal very strong damage to targets, and his power usually increases as the battle goes longer. When supported by attack buffs and energy from Flash, Superman can use his ultimate more frequently and become the biggest threat to the enemy team. Finally, there is Flash, the hero who changes the pace of the battle. Flash can increase attack for allies and transfer energy to the hero with the highest damage in the team. This helps Superman accumulate energy faster and launch more ultimates throughout the battle. Thanks to this support, the entire team can operate more smoothly, and the main damage source of the team can reach its full potential. Next, let's talk about how this team operates in a real battle. When the match begins, the two Amazons heroes, Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta, will take the role of holding the front line. They absorb most of the damage from the enemy and create a stable defensive layer for the entire team. Thanks to their strong defensive abilities and protection effects for allies, the front line of this team can usually stand for quite a long time, giving the heroes in the back line enough time to start accumulating energy and prepare for the next phase of the battle. Artemis has the role of controlling a single target and also dealing secondary damage. However, she is also quite durable because her physical defense is very high. When the battle moves into the mid-phase, Flash begins to show his role more clearly. He increases attack for allies and transfers energy to the hero who deals the highest damage in the team. In most cases, Superman will receive the biggest benefit from this mechanic. When energy is accumulated faster, Superman can use his ultimate more frequently, and from there he begins to create huge pressure on the enemy team. In the late phase of the battle, the power of this team starts to become the most noticeable. When Superman has accumulated enough energy and receives multiple buffs from allies, he can continuously use his ultimate and become the main source of damage for the entire team. At this point, the enemy team will have to face an increasing amount of damage, while the Amazon frontline continues to hold its position. Because of that, this is the type of team that gains more advantage the longer the battle lasts, since its power increases over time. To evaluate it fairly, this team has quite a few notable strengths. First is the very durable frontline, thanks to the combination of Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta, allowing the team to withstand a large amount of damage for a long time. In addition, Flash provides attack buffs for allies and the energy transfer mechanic, which helps the main damage source of the team operate more efficiently. When Superman begins to accumulate enough energy and uses ultimate continuously, the amount of damage he creates can increase over time and create a strong snowball effect. Overall, this is a team with high stability and performs well in long battles. However, this team also has weaknesses that players should pay attention to. One obvious limitation is that there is no healer, so sometimes it will have difficulty when facing teams with heroes who deal area damage, such as Constantine or Supergirl. Actually, at first, I planned to use Green Lantern instead of Flash, but he is a hero that requires spending money to obtain, so I do not recommend it. In addition, the strength of this team depends quite a lot on Superman, because he is the main source of damage for most of the battle. If Superman is defeated early or controlled too much, the damage of the entire team will decrease significantly, especially when strong damage dealers like Constantine, Sinestro, and Supergirl are very popular in the current meta. Besides that, the burst damage in the early phase of the battle is not very high, because the team needs time to accumulate energy and activate all buffs before reaching its full power. Also, since the entire team is mostly melee heroes, they can easily be hit by the enemy's area damage. Flash is a support hero, but he is also melee, so he can be defeated early quite easily. If you do not like this risky playstyle, you can replace him with Martian Manhunter, because he has a very good counter damage ability. Since this team helps him survive very well, he can reflect a lot of damage back to the enemy. Overall, this is actually the weakest team among all the teams I have introduced when combined with the Amazons team. And now, I am also very curious about everyone's opinion. Do you think this Amazons and Justice League team built in this direction is strong enough to use long-term or not? If you have other build ideas or heroes that you think could replace someone to make the team work better, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want to watch more videos analyzing teams, strategies, as well as different ways to build heroes in DC Dark Legion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next videos.